Good to see you. Come on in. Oh my gosh, you guys, it's like almost the end of July. Holy Hannah. Holy Schnikey. How you doing today? So every day we go live Monday through Friday and we talk about insulin resistance and the fallout of if you don't do anything about it. Like, where does this lead to? And why do you have all of these frustrating symptoms in your world? Like, why are you today we're going to talk about sleep. So hold on to your hat. Why are you waking up at 2 a.m? Why do you have racing thoughts? Why do you you're exhausted? Even if you do sleep all 8 hours, why are you exhausted? So let's get into it today. Actually, love talking about this topic because once I understood that I needed to focus on my sleep and actually really make I actually had to try. I had to give it an actual try so that I could overcome waking up in the middle of the night and losing hours in the middle of the night, losing hours, and realizing then that was really detrimental for insulin resistance. Hate to tell you, stress and not sleeping. So let's jump into it today. I really do. Tell me if you are on the replay and where you're coming in from as we are wrapping up July. I do want to be able to help you to have a different thought process for the next 90 days. Like we know that here we are in the height of summer and we're really excited about that. But in 90 days, we are in October and we're drinking pumpkin lattes and we're headed into Christmas. And I feel like that's the time where we feel the least amount of hope to a certain degree, not about the world or, our joy or our happiness. I just mean in general, like about how we know what we're facing for the next, couple of months over the holidays. And sometimes that can feel very overwhelming. So let's start right now. Let's just start right now and we'll start implementing a few things. And if you don't know already, we have a Facebook group called Ditch Insulin Resistance for Women. You can jump in there and we'll do a challenge every month. I've got another one coming up in August and it's free, you guys. It's just where I'm able to talk to you about ingredient trade-offs from an Italian perspective and help you see how simplistic this path, this blueprint is. Why are all these women getting all these results? How can this possibly be so simple? Didn't say easy because you have to overcome your mind and your heart, but simplistic in your thought process. Good morning, Jody. Good to see you. So glad that you're on. So I wanted to jump into the whole sleep conversation today because if insulin resistance is wrecking your sleep, you just need to know about it so that you can actually do something about it. And there are some real basic things that you can do, obviously, to help yourself get sleep. But I think the most important thing that you could do out of everything else, of course, we're going to do tips and tricks and what do I do and blah, 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 blah. But one of the most important things is for you to actually just acknowledge that there's going to be a season where you're going to have to really prioritize and be super intentional about, I'm going to do whatever it takes. I'm going to try different methods until I land on what is right for me in order to get the sleep that I need so that I am not swimming upstream anymore. That's how important this is. Your insulin resistance goes up something crazy like 25% the day after you don't sleep. And after 5 days of not sleeping well in a row consecutively, you're in full-blown prediabetes. I think I'm right in a stat that's in my head coming from somebody's content. So it just is that important. So if you've not been a sleeper today, let me just share with you. I remember we're just having a cup of coffee. Go grab yourself a cup of coffee, grab yourself a tea. I always have my water and let's just chat. Okay. I'll grab you some information here. So do you ever feel like you could fall asleep standing up at 3 p.m. middle of the afternoon? You're like, I can't keep my eyes awake or alive. I'm so tired. But then at 10 p.m., you're wired. Tell me in the comments below if that is you. You're exhausted in the middle of the day. But then when it comes time to go to bed, you're hello, you can go for another round. Okay. Maybe you're restless. Maybe your brain won't shut off. That used to be me. That used to be me for sure. OMG. I remember napping on the living room floor in the sun, when I was raising my kids. It was just always exhausted in the middle of the day, right? And it turns out that insulin resistance had way more to do with it than I realized. I didn't understand that these were symptoms of insulin resistance. That's why when I get to come to you and share this stuff with you, it's like, yay, I'm telling you what somebody didn't tell me, because I didn't have this. I didn't have you having coffee with me every day. I didn't have that to chat about this conversation, right? So you might be wondering, why do I wake up at 2 or 3 a.m. like clockwork? Why? Well, it's probably connected to a blood sugar crash, a cortisol spike, and then you're wide awake. Psh, ah, and you're up. Okay. So a blood sugar crash, a cortisol spike, and then now you're wide awake. Okay. Maybe, because everybody's different, maybe you are this one. I'm exhausted all day, but at night I scroll my phone for hours. Come on, who are my scrollers? Because I just can't fall asleep. Let me know in the comments if you're the scroller. Are you the scroller? Joy, good morning. Patty, good morning. Magda, everybody's here. Sweet lady Patty, good to see you. Joy, I just love your name because, of course, Joy is like everything. Wear a glucometer. Yep, no blood sugar crash. Nancy, such a good piece of advice. I really, I used to think that maybe it wasn't, because I never wore one. I was dealing with this a little bit over 10 years ago when live video wasn't here, reels didn't exist, all of this information wasn't available. I tested my blood when I was gestational diabetic in my 20s, 4 times a day. Oh, I had such, like always on the tips of my fingers. And then if you've ever done actual pokies, like the machine where you push the button and it pokes you, right? I would do that and then I would re-poke. I didn't mean to, but oh man, I can still remember the feeling. It was like, dang it, I tried to miss that. But I did do that. And so I never used a continuous glucose meter, a glucometer. I never did that because, I was too chicken. You weren't able to just pick them up on Amazon or wherever. You had to go to the doctor. And that's actually kind of as of recent too. So I was too much of a chicken to go and actually find out what all my details were. You guys kind of know my story. I was a 2X when I entered my 50s. My dad died from type 2 diabetes when he was 63. I was a freaking hot mess express. Okay. So I wasn't doing that, but I do think that a continuous glucose monitor would help a lot of people, because then you would see what is spiking your sugars, and it would shut down the noise of everybody saying like dumb stuff to you when you are insulin resistant and they're telling you can still eat all of the different foods. Anyway, including the hospital or the doctor. I had somebody post yesterday on my reel. I was in the hospital and they said they gave me 60 grams of carbs per meal. Criminal. Let's move along. So maybe you're exhausted all day, but at night you scroll your phone for hours because you just can't fall asleep. That can be disrupted melatonin. Okay. Disrupted melatonin plus overstimulated nervous system. Okay. So the first one was you're waking up at 2 or 3 a.m. like clockwork. That's probably a blood sugar crash. Bam, a cortisol spike, boom. And now you're awake. Okay. Now, if you're exhausted all day, you're just like, oh my gosh, I'm so tired. Like I could take a nap right now. And you just feel that overwhelming fatigue all day. But then at night, you just are like, you just scroll your phone. That could be disrupted melatonin and overstimulated nervous system. Okay. The next one, is this you? Good morning, Sharon. Good to see you, my Canadian friend. Good to see you. Actually, and Sharon, I think that in Canada, I think that you have the glucose health in stock and we don't. So you are blessed and highly favored up in Canada. We're waiting. I have a few left on my shelf if you need to order from me, by the way, people in the United States. The next one, you tried melatonin, but it makes you groggy or it doesn't work. That was me. Melatonin makes me feel drunk. I don't do melatonin, but listen, melatonin doesn't address the root cause like blood sugar dysregulation, magnesium, or stress. Bum, bum, bum. So melatonin is not the answer for everybody. And I know it. I have an amazing melatonin gummy if you need one. I mean, it's really good. It's so good. It made me like want to sleep till noon. So not everybody can do melatonin because it might make you groggy or it doesn't work at all. Like has no effect on you. That sometimes people are like that. Then the last one is you keep gaining weight. Is this you? You keep gaining weight and you swear it started when you stopped sleeping well. Can you make that connection? Can you remember when you stopped sleeping well? Was that when you started to really gain more and more weight and you were like, what is going on? The lack of sleep equals more cravings, higher insulin, and slower fat burning. We don't want our fat burning slower. That's like so sad. It's like, oh man, dang it anyway. So if you keep gaining weight and you swear that it's maybe connected to when you stopped sleeping well. So when your insulin is high, this is what you need to know right here. This is what you need to know. When your insulin is high, your body stays in fat storing mode. Okay. It also messes with your cortisol rhythm, which is why you may feel sleepy during the day and wired at night. And when your blood sugar dips in the middle of the night, your body panics. It releases cortisol to bring it back up. And that's why you're waking up. Did you know this? Did you know, I'd love to know who knew this already, that insulin resistance is a big reason why people are waking up in the middle of the night? Did anybody know this? I'd love to know. So this, for myself, hold on, I'm going to see who I'm missing. You're a big time scroller, Joy. Yep. I know. I understand what that is. Let me see here. And what did it say about being a scroller? Let's just go back for a second. Disrupted melatonin plus an overstimulated nervous system. So we have to learn how to calm ourselves. And there are many things that you can do. There are many things. And like I said, I feel like the first thing that you can do is actually commit to an intentional journey. Like if you said between now and the end of the year, doggone it, I'm going to figure out my sleep so that 2026 is completely different. Like I feel like sometimes we have to just make that decision that we're going to focus on one area of our life to get it under control. Otherwise, we're just spiraling in too many different directions. But beyond that, there are things that you can do. You can drink chamomile tea in the evening. You can take a magnesium. That's what I do. You can take an ashwagandha. That's what I do. I'll tell you about those in just a second. But you can take things that will help you when you go to bed, or if you do feel like you need a good melatonin or something like that, right? But I did not fix my sleep by learning how to count sheep. I did not fix my sleep by, getting blackout curtains, although love me some blackout curtains. I will say this. We have a lot of brightness. We do not have a blackout curtain. I should probably get one. Speaking of which, I should go online and shop for that today. We have our room is super bright. And so we have like our little sleep masks, and I brought mine on my trip and I can't find it. And I kind of have been on the struggle bus a little bit this week. I'm waking up and I'm like, Nike, because I know that will just, it's almost like, in fact, I think what I'm going to do is I'm going to order one maybe off of Amazon. And if it works, I'll share it with you. But those ones that kind of have padding around here. And so they kind of feel almost like, when you'd use like a weighted blanket, you can also do kind of like it just gives a really super light pressure. I don't know. Maybe I'm weird. You can tell me I'm weird. That's okay. But they really do help because they block out that light and they keep you in that sleep mode. Anyway, but I had to calm my nervous system. This is what I had to do for me. And maybe this is for you too. I had to calm my nervous system and balance my blood sugar. Okay. Because this was, when I talk about how did I know that I was insulin resistant, these are the pieces. This was one of the major pieces. I was constantly waking up at 2, 3, 4 in the morning, and I would lose hours in the middle of the night. And then the next day you just feel like trash, and you just crave everything in sight. You want to eat every carb. You search them out, you seek them, you seek them, you find them, you eat them, like, because your body is craving energy again. Your body is craving that, comfort, right? So, but what finally helped me fall asleep faster and stay asleep, and I've talked about this, and it's the two things that I take every night. And that is my magnesium and my ashwagandha. My magnesium is like, it has a couple of different blends in it. And then ashwagandha, that is an adaptogenic herb, just so that you know, and it helps with sleep, stress, and mood. And those two things together, I'm 60. I started the magnesium ashwagandha train at 59. So it's been almost a year and a half that I started that. I have never slept so good in my life. Now, this is for me, right? I fought to get good sleep for a few years. It took me a while to figure it out. Like, I'm testing out melatonin and I'm like, oh my gosh, I don't like that. And testing out different things. And then finally I landed on this. And so I take 2 of my magnesium. Some of you are already doing the sleep duo. 2 magnesium and my 2 ashwagandha every single night, literally without fail. I think I've missed it once this summer, and I was shocked that I missed it. We were traveling and I woke up the next day and I'm like, oh my gosh, how did I forget? Because I'm so in routine now, because I appreciate the sleep that I get. I appreciate that when I wake up in the middle of the night and I have to use the restroom, I just go right back to sleep. I'm calm. My insides are calm because I've been using magnesium and ashwagandha to calm my nervous system. Okay. So magnesium, it helps relax my body, and it also helps to support insulin sensitivity. And if you didn't know that, you need to know that. And of course, you don't just want to go out and buy a magnesium citrate. It'll just make you poop. You can if you need to, but that's not what I'm talking about. Mine is like a combination. It's a glycinate and a malate. And I mean, it's a really good blend that's helping with calming everything down, et cetera. And then ashwagandha, that's a natural herb that helps to regulate cortisol. So if you didn't know that, you're welcome. You need to know that, right? So it helps you regulate cortisol and ease that anxiousness. Ashwagandha, sleep, stress, mood. Okay. And it helps with that wired feeling. And personally, I never realized really like how much stress and sleep were connected. Like I don't know. Like once you go to sleep, aren't you just then without your stress? Isn't that your moment to be without stress, right? But I never really realized how connected they actually were until I started kind of basically paying attention. I mean, this is like how this works, right? But don't forget that your sleep schedule's all messed up. I know, Joy. It's really important to address. It's really important to like say to yourself, I'm going to figure this out. But this is why I always teach both sides of the same coin. I always teach the food ingredient trade outs, because listen, if you do not change what you're putting in your mouth, you will not change the spiking of your sugars and the disruption that's going on all day long, much less in the middle of the night. You do have to change those pieces. And that's why I did I'll show it to you. I did the free blueprint. A lot of you, like so many of you, are grabbing this right now. I'm going to just show you quickly. So when you go to my site, which is my first and last name.com, KirstenLiebelt.com. This is what it looks like. It's my face. It's my face laughing with you. I'm laughing with you. This is what that is, because we laugh around here. Maybe today hasn't been very funny, but if you stick around long enough, we get funny in this place. So right here at the very top, there's this blueprint. There's a free blueprint. And that is basically how I traded out my ingredients and focused on protein. It really is what kind of proteins do you eat? Because everybody's confused. And when you are insulin resistant, you might be making the exact mistake that I was making. And you're getting your protein from places that are spiking your sugars, and your hamster wheel is just running faster and faster. So that's why the food. So there's the food. There's even the bread recipe. I need to maybe make this look nicer. This is a picture of the egg white bread and then just the recipe. So it's super simple. I should probably make that look nicer though. Anyway, point being, don't pay any attention to me. I'll see how I am now. But I wanted to show you where the sleep help would be for you, should you need that. And I just know that when I started to really focus in on that, it changed everything for me. How do I not know how to go backwards on an Android? People, explain that to me. Most people probably wouldn't know how to explain that to me. I don't know how to explain it to me. Anyway, so there's the blueprint again, right? The bread recipe. But you will see the different things, when I talk about supplementation, that's what I'm talking about. But right down here is sleep, right above my picture of my transformation. Right here is the sleep, and that will give you, that's the magnesium and the ashwagandha. Okay. I'm just telling you that that's where that is if you want that. But when I do talk to you about targeted supplementation, the whole reason behind that is because if everything that you eat and everything that you take is another layer of helping your insulin sensitivity, you are going to freaking win. You are going to crush whatever it is you need to crush. Will it happen overnight? Pretty much no. Will it happen in 2 weeks? Pretty much no. But I will say, the testimonies that I have are just like, I at one point had the Google sheet of all the testimonies on it. And I thought, this is probably just so overwhelming for people to read through all of the testimonies. But like, even just with the trio, this is at the top of the site, these 3 that help with insulin sensitivity. I had a client starting this month last year, July, taking just the trio and being mindful of her food. By January, they put not diabetic in her chart. Like, I don't know what else, think about the freedom that gives you, where you're able to actually like watch your A1C drop. But now, it doesn't mean everything is fixed and perfect. It takes time to become metabolically like flexible. And I get that. So she's on her journey, and that is great. You wonder if the supplements interact with your blood pressure pill. Super interesting. Are you taking them at the same time, Joy? And why do you say that? Super interesting, right? And it's really good you can always ask ChatGPT that question. Ask ChatGPT. So helping your insulin sensitivity is affecting what's happening at 2, 3 in the morning. Because remember, most likely your blood sugar is crashing, which is causing your insulin or your cortisol to spike. And then you are awake and you're losing time in the middle of the night. Okay. And you're thinking, oh, I just have insomnia. Oh, this is just what it's like to get old. No, it doesn't have to be. So I always talk about the trio. I always talk about the gut reset protocol. You guys, your gut and your sleep, completely connected. Completely connected. Think about how if you have toxins that are built up in your body, if you have impacted waste just sitting inside of your intestines, just think about what that's doing to your system trying to regulate itself overnight, your nervous system trying to regulate, your cells trying to regenerate, everything trying to rest. REM is meant for a renewing and a refreshing and a restoration. And if you can't restore because you are still in fight or flight mode with your cortisol, your nervous system is all anxious and whatever, and your gut is inflamed, I'm telling you, it just makes it so much harder. But this is the gut primer that I talk about, you guys. This has been now, I've been doing this for a full year almost. No, not yet. The level of my gut and my ability to absorb nutrients, my ability to eat foods that are different than what I've been eating like in the past, I can't even explain it, because it gives you this freedom when you can begin to heal and seal your gut and bring down that inflammation digestively, if you know what I mean. Like, I'm not traveling without it. And then a probiotic, you have to put your good bacteria back into your body. And these are alive. And those strains, these 5 strains, I just put them on my tongue. You can do whatever you want. You can sprinkle it on cold food, super convenient for your purse. But I put it on my tongue, and that is like repopulating your colony, so to speak. And it has like stick to the gut technology and stay alive technology, things that are really important scientifically, because there's so much trash out there. And if you do not understand what it means to have products that are NSF certified, that are off of organic farms, if you do not understand certifications, if you do not understand third-party testing, if that is not a priority for you, if you do not understand traceability, then you may not understand how what you picked up at Walgreens or the Marts or whatever is not probably serving you. And you're literally flushing money, just literally. And that's a big thing. That's what you thought. Those changes were part of aging. I know. I thought this too. Even up until a year ago because I started the orange pixie stick. This is the last one that I talk about. It's about helping your visceral fat. So it's the fat underneath what you can pinch, right? And I didn't even measure myself when I started because I didn't even believe it was going to help me. I was just testing it before I even talked about it with you guys. It took me like 2.5 months just to talk about it with you guys. Because again, if it's not going to support insulin sensitivity and if it's not going to help you and get the results that you're looking for, I'm not going to bring it to you. I'm not going to do that. Whether that's a sleep mask or my frother or whatever, I'm not going to tell you about something that it's not in my life and it's not working for me. Okay. Because it's really important that everything that you do is funneling right towards turning back around your insulin resistance. Anyway, so when I started this is what I started a year ago. And like I said, I didn't even measure myself, and I should have. So measure yourself underneath your bust, your hips, and your waist. But you know what, Joy? I thought to myself, so I was 59. I'd already lost my 3 sizes. Okay. So I lost my 3 sizes. I have my before and after up on TikTok. And but I've always been this hippie person, like just hippie. And I had totally thought, well, that's just the way that this is going to be. Like, you don't really go back to your high school body, your 20-year-old body, whatever. And I just had accepted it without even counteracting it in my mind. And then I started to take this. And thank God that I was a measuring person because I got rid of my scale like 8 years ago. So I'm measuring and measuring. I already knew my measurements and my body composition was changing. And a big piece of that has been my hips. And I was like, I'll be darned. I didn't know. I thought maybe at 60, it just was going to be what it was going to be because my body shape is my body shape. Technically, I suppose I'm a pear because my shoulders are more narrow than my hips. So technically, I'm a pear. And I, even at my age, don't always know how to dress myself for because I've not really studied that. But it's very interesting to me, right? And I do feel like that's a mental thing that happens when we begin to lose weight and our body composition changes. We have a hard time buying clothes again. And then we think, and then we go into kind of body confusion where we think that maybe we're not actually losing weight. Maybe we're not actually losing fat off of our hips. Maybe we're not actually, whatever. This is why you need to measure. But I did too, Joy. I thought, this is just a part of aging. This is just how it is. I'm going to be 60. Like, que sera, sera, embrace your life, whatever. What are you going to do? And now I realize, no, I can actually return. And I feel like I don't need to go into TMI, but I mean, I can just tell even like how my legs are changing over the years of me becoming more metabolically flexible and how just parts of my body that I burn fat, even if it's really slowly, I'm so grateful for the different pockets of my body that are returning and actually becoming more youthful. And I'm going to explain that to you in this way. And then we'll just wrap up today with this. When you stop constantly raising your blood sugars are like shrapnel inside of your body, having high blood sugars all the time. It's like shrapnel. And if you're constantly raising your blood sugar, you are aging yourself. You are aging the inside of yourself and you are aging the outside of yourself. And all of that blood sugar spiking needs to have insulin in order to shuttle it to its destination for energy. Because your body needs energy. This is just the way that it works. There's no judgment on it. This is just the way that your body works, right? So there's no emotion attached to it. It's just the way it goes. So it's going to shuttle it into your cells. But when your cell is resistant and the door is closed and the lock is on there, they change the lock and insulin can't be the key anymore for your lock. It's going to begin to just take all of that excess energy and store it as fat. And that's why it gets stored in your liver. And that's why it gets stored around your organs. And that's why you end up with high inflammation. And you tell me in my inboxes how high your inflammation is. This is a common conversation. And with all of that inflammation, your body is just fighting for normal. Your cells are fighting. So every time we have this conversation, which is every day, Monday through Friday at 11 a.m. Central Standard Time, we're having a cellular conversation. And I don't know if you realize that or not, but if you do not address everything from a hormonal standpoint and a cellular conversation so that you can give your body the actual raw materials that it needs to function, because maybe you're the one who had your gallbladder out. Maybe you're the one who has fatty liver. Maybe you're the one who has leaky gut. Maybe you're the one who's constipated, or you have indigestion, or these are just all signs. Your exhaustion, your brain fog, you're not sleeping at night, fat showing up in areas you never thought it could be created. It is all of the cellulite and everything. It's our body just kind of going sideways because it can't function at the level it was created to function to begin with. And it happens because all of the over-the-counter medicines that we take and the scripts that we take and the high fructose corn syrup that we've been drinking for years, and our Mountain Dew and our Dr. Pepper and our Coke, and the high fructose corn syrup that's in all of the granola bars and the boxes. I like what Dr. Ben Bickman says: no bags, no boxes, no barcodes. But we have lived and only known bags, boxes, and barcodes. So do you understand that our body at a cellular level is screaming for help? And that's why, like, when I talk about, like, this is what I call the total body reset, where you're just taking all of this and you're like, I am just going to actually give myself permission to begin to turn things back. And it's not just because it can be because, but not just because you want your bloat to go down and be able to zip up your jeans. That's really nice. If you don't have to lay down to zip up your jeans, you're happy, right? I mean, is it just me? I think we're all happy, but maybe it is because it's just, it's time and you're ready. You're ready. I hear you say that to me in my inbox. I'm ready. I'm ready now. And I'm going to just tell you that I don't know of another, if you're still on my content here today, as we wrap up, it's probably for a reason. I don't know of anybody else that is paying you for your wellness right now. Your HSA won't cover it. Your insurance company, you can't submit any of this to your insurance company. Is anybody confused about that? Does anybody think that you can take your receipt and you can submit all of this to Blue Cross Blue Shield and they'll reimburse you, or your HSA? We know that that's not true, right? However, with the customer campaign that launched in March, when you are registered with your name, okay, and you purchase $150 or more 3 months in a row, every time, and you can do it over and over, you can rinse and repeat this, every third month, $75 you are earning off. What? Not, a couple of dollars, whatever, in points of something, or $75 off of your total order. I have so many of you that are rinsing and repeating this because you're like, doggone it, I'm going to commit myself to my own personal journey of getting better and becoming well. And so I might as well get paid to do it. I might as well, right? Of course, the shipping is free at that point, all that good stuff. So there are so many pieces of this puzzle where you could say, I am going to go on 3 months. I'm going to do my first 3 months and I'm going to go bam, bam, cha-ching. Okay. Did you know that you still have 3 months left on a guarantee? I mean, I'm not making this up. There's no hype needed. I could be as monotone as possible. I could be so monotone. Nobody has yet gotten into my inbox and said, I have a better deal. I have found a better opportunity. And so for those of you that I have a hair, like it's like, I can feel it. I'm like, come on, get off my face. Many of you have gone to naturopaths. Listen, I love naturopaths. I worked with one. She taught me so much, you guys. It's probably the impetus of how I ended up here, right? She told me things like, Kirsten, how you take care of your adrenals is how you'll go through menopause. And that's why I started adaptogenic herbs and all of those good things. But you also know that when you walk into that clinic, it's out of pocket cash. And there are a lot of you that have done a lot of things, and then you're purchasing maybe supplementation off of a clinic shelf that is a lot more expensive just because. I'm not going to go into that. I could go into that. But I am just saying that there is an opportunity in between GNC and the naturopath and the cash out of your pocket for just the consultation or the regimen, etc. But you do not have to fall prey to the programs of counting your points or buying prepackaged processed foods and thinking that that is the way to go. If somebody just tells you, eat your bar now, open this box now. I mean, honestly, we're just trading a grocery store full of processed food for a system of processed food. Okay, that's obviously, you know my opinion on that. I want to teach you how to fish. So that starts with tomorrow at 11 a.m. Central Standard Time. I will be back here. That's where it starts. Come back Monday through Friday, unless it's a holiday or I'm out of town. And we will talk about insulin resistance. Number 2, do not sabotage yourself. If you feel led to reach out to me because you are ready, then reach out to me. Get into my DM, get into my messenger, my Instagram, my TikTok, wherever. On my site, you'll see my phone number is at the bottom of my site. My site is my first last name.com, kirstenliebelt.com. There's a phone number. You can text me. Text me ready. Let's go. Let's do something that starts now. And especially now that we're at the end of July, you could do July, August, and you'll be cashing in as soon as September because you're starting at the end of a month. Does that make sense? July, August, and you'll be cashing in right away in September, $75 off. For those of you that fits, for those of you that are, I want to really jump in and deal with this. But then inside of the group, Ditch Insulin Resistance for Women, I don't want to leave you high and dry. I want to teach you how to trade out your food ingredients. And that's what we do every month. We've done now 26. We'll be doing our 27th 5-day challenge. That means we've over 2 years. Every month we do this, and I teach you how to view your ingredients, how to calibrate your pantry, your refrigerator, what it looks like in my actual house. I clean it once a month for you. Whether or not it needs it, always needs it. It's just my husband and I. I don't know how we make such a mess, but we do. We do. But I just want to give you tangible understanding. Like, let's make a recipe together. Let's actually begin you getting nuggets into your world. Because that's how I changed. One ingredient at a time, one recipe at a time, 1 month at a time. And pretty soon I looked up and I went, holy cow, I am making progress. And that is amazing. And you can do the same thing. Today is July. You could go August, September, October, November, December, 5 months to the end of the year. And what kind of a jump on January do you have? You don't go into January totally depressed because you've actually been working on your nuggets before then. Patty. Okay, you guys, don't scroll yet. Just listen to what Patty's saying, okay? Just hold on a second. Patty, I'm going to put that up on the screen. This is by far the best program with the best products ever. You got your $75 off. Woohoo! I love hearing that. I love hearing that. Do you understand? I'm so glad, Patty. I really, really am. Because you know what? If you never send me your testimonies, I got nothing. I'm not working for a company who created a program and markets it to you. I have sourced for myself what worked and helped me to lose 3 sizes, turn around my insulin resistance, and be the only person in my immediate family to avoid type 2 diabetes. I'm 60 and I'm not on any meds. I sourced it for me. I went through my own brain stuff and my own emotional connection to food. And then I got online and I started talking about it because I'm like, I know I'm not the only one. I'm Italian. There are many other like cultures, usually they're Hispanic, just letting you know, that are like, yeah, we mourn with food and we celebrate with food and everything is white. white flour, white sugar. I'm not the only one. I know I'm not the only one. So I started talking about it. And that led to you guys going, we want more. We want a community. So therefore, we've got the Facebook group, Ditch Insulin Resistance for Women. We want the connection. We want access to the person who went through it. We want access to be able to ask questions. We want friendship. We want relationship with the person who actually sourced the pieces to bring it to the table to say, listen, if you want to go on your own wellness journey, I will walk with you. I am probably the most important piece of your journey. To be perfectly honest, not because I'm amazing. We're all amazing. We're all God's favorite. You may not understand that yet, but we are all God's favorite. And so my point being that actually hitching your wagon to somebody who went before you is a very important success principle. Okay. So just know that there's always hope. And yep, you're going to have days that are good and days that are bad. And you're going to have social events that are good and social events that are, it's okay. Get a longer vision, get a longer term vision for yourself and give yourself permission for the mission. Give it to yourself. Maybe you've spent too much time taking care of everybody else. And now it's time for you. All right. So don't hesitate to reach out. Just let me know that you're ready. We'll get you all going up and running at the end of July so you can cash in September if that's what you need to do or want to do. So, all right. Have the best day ever on the face of the planet. I will see you tomorrow at 11 a.m. Central Standard Time. I love summer. It's summer in Minnesota, so we are very happy. All right. Have a great day, you guys.